Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for December 26th, 2021, from Psalm 119, verses 129 to 136. Psalm 119 is an acrostic poem using the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, and each letter is given a section. So Psalm 119 is divided into 22 sections. Each section has 8 verses, and each verse begins with the same Hebrew letter. We don't always get to see this because the Hebrew gets translated into English, but it's good background information as we continue to go through this psalm. Psalm 119, beginning with verse 129. Your testimonies are wonderful, therefore my soul keeps them. God's word is completely different from any other writing. Our own soul even recognizes this and trusts in God's holy word. There is a special mystery with God's word. Why? Well, it comes from God. It is God. It does not come from any human ideas. Verse 130. The unfolding of your words gives light. It imparts understanding to the simple. The beauty of God's word can be understood by little children. And yet at the same time, the wisest men of the world don't understand it. Why the inconsistency? Because understanding God's word is part of that gift of faith. Verse 131, I open my mouth and pant, because I long for your commandments. As Christians, do we really desire God's word to read, to have it being read to us, to study, to bring us comfort? Or do we set our hearts on other things of this world? I will admit, it is a challenge, but we need to keep our focus on God's holy word. Verse 132, turn to me and be gracious to me, as is your way with those who love your name. Here is a petition and cry for God to pay attention to those who are following God, for those who bear God's name, especially through holy baptism. Verse 133, keep steady my steps according to your promise, and let no iniquity get dominion over me. Verse 134, redeem me from man's oppression, that I may keep your precepts. Here's another request, to be delivered from the ways of this world, so that we can then follow God and his word. Verse 135, make your face shine upon your servants, and teach me your statutes. God's face, God's blessings, being showered upon the psalmist, just like we shower upon everyone when they come to the divine service at the end. What a wonderful verse. Verse 136, my eyes shed streams of tears because people do not keep your law. Here's a good question. Do we grieve with God when people break God's word and commandments? Do we grieve when we don't see somebody that we used to see in church? Or do we just sort of slough it off? God's peace and many blessings be with you. And thank you for listening. And please take an opportunity to share this message with others. If you have enjoyed these daily devotions, please consider making a donation to Peace Lutheran Church, 24024 West Main Street, Plainfield, Illinois, 60544. Thank you again for listening.